As of 2018, climate research scientists have reached 100% consensus that climate change is caused by human activity. And though a survey from 2017 showed that the majority of Americans agreed that climate change should be taught in public schools, this consensus is not reflected in Arizona science standards. State education standards are expectations for what students should know and be able to do by the end of each school year. These standards vary widely throughout the United States, meaning that students with similar academic skills are being evaluated differently depending on the state they live in. In Arizona, the state science standards lack clarity and specificity, leaving interpretation of these vague standards up to individual school districts, schools, and even teachers. This means that two teachers fulfilling the same science standard could have entirely different lessons and learning outcomes for their students. Very little research analyzing climate change education in the United States has been published. The National Center for Science Education published the first national study of climate change education in October 2020, just a few months ago. And this study graded states based on how well their science standards directly addressed climate change causes, severity, and solutions. Though Arizona was awarded a C grade, this study did not analyze how these standards are being implemented in the classroom, how students are comprehending the material, and did not take into account any possible political bias for more mature high school students. To look deeper into Arizona's climate change education, I propose that analysis of climate change curriculum implementation in the middle school level will reveal the depth at which climate change is taught and how successful this curriculum is at preparing students to solve the future climate crisis. To answer these research questions, conducting classroom observations, teacher interviews, curriculum comparison, and student surveys to gauge student understanding is necessary to see the full picture of the classroom environment. The climate crisis is severely overlooked in the United States and underrepresented in Arizona science standards. Educating middle school students with a sufficient background knowledge in climate change is key to combating bias, responding to scientific and public consensus, and taking action. This project is extremely important to the local and educational community because it has the potential to reform curriculum, to provide students the knowledge necessary to conquer the climate crisis. Bringing attention to this impactful social dilemma is imperative to fill this gap in the published literature and advocate for an equitable science education that provides all students the knowledge necessary for the world they will inherit.